house and a piece of land that basically went before the zoning board, and the piece of land has water issues. So both the people, the neighbors were there.
We are live streaming.
Open that because Adam's coming in.
And then those, they got upset.
Yeah, it does.
Water. It's tied 3 to 3. So it's
Sure.
So that's the issue. It's always running somewhere.
You gotta keep an eye on it. Temperature goes up, comes down.
Why? It's like he has a ton of roofs that are
Adam's going to be
Hi,
a little
Missy.
late.
How are you? Good. How are you?
What's that?
very executive session to talk about some for next week. Just to do something. Which will be interesting.
Talking to the oldest guy here to remember.
Yeah.
In fact,
I'm telling everyone. He's there.
the official clock. What's that? She's not going to be here till 7. It's one of those days.
I mean, they raised the rate. Yeah, ditch along the road. That's where it goes.
Yeah, that's, I mean,
I mean, his yard's low, now we gotta raise his yard, but the ditch is there, it's great for
okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Town Board meeting work session for 8/19/2024. Tonight, we're going to have 2 presentations by developers, and since the Woodspring Suites Hotel people were here first, why don't you guys go ahead and go first?
Thank you, Supervisor. Thank you to the Town Board for giving us an opportunity to present tonight. My name is Jat Mehta. I'm the president of Indus Hospitality Group. We are based in Rochester. I have with me tonight Rebecca Spur. She's a civil engineer with BME Associates, and my colleague John Ott, who is the vice president of construction and development for our organization. We brought some handouts, so Rebecca was kind enough to offer to help me by passing those out. The first page is a simple one-pager about our company. We are in our 4th decade of operations. We're a family business. We own and operate over 75 properties, primarily hotels and restaurants in Rochester, the Finger Lakes, the Southern Tier, and in Erie County, in the what I guess we call the Buffalo region. We are excited to introduce a project that we've been working on for many months now on a piece of property that we do have a contract on off of Maple off of Transit, which we are proposing a new construction extended stay hotel called Woodspring Suites, which is part of the Choice Hotels company. We would have a license agreement with them. The land is under contract from a local developer, Paul Stevens. We have secured the license agreement. Obviously, we're working through some of the design work and engineering, and certainly wanted to share the project with you all tonight and answer any questions. The second handout that's coming around is, hopefully will answer a lot of questions about what the concept is. And extended stay hotels are really probably seeing the most activity in the hotel development space. It's it's an underserved segment. Hotel travelers are looking for longer stays. So really built for people who want to stay more than a week, kind of that 7 to 20 day stay. For anyone who has spent, maybe a week or more in a standard hotel room, it becomes a little limiting. So maybe I'll pause there and get some direction from the board here and the council members on what I could maybe share about the project, and then Rebecca can talk about the engine.
Yeah, first, where are you building this?
So there's a vacant piece of land on Maple directly next to the existing Red Roof Inn. So Thruway, Transit, and then Maple.
Okay, next to the Red Roof Inn back
Next
there.
to the Red Roof Inn. It's currently a vacant, undeveloped, kind of slightly wooded parcel.
Yeah.
And Rebecca, you could correct me if I'm wrong. It's zoned appropriately, and
Yes, it is zoned general commercial, which is a hotel is a permitted use within that. The zoning around there to the west is general commercial as well as the south, and then to the east is residential zoning.
Okay. And when do you plan on, if approved, when would you start this? When would it be built? And
yeah, we would like to start after this upcoming winter. So we know at this point in the process, it'll still take many months of design work and, of course, working with planning and zoning. But with a little bit of luck, we should be able to start construction. I call it early spring. We mostly kind of target St. Patrick's Day when the weather starts breaking up. The architect we're working with, who we've worked with for almost 20 years, is based in Orchard Park, and he's assured us he could get the drawings done on time. So John's going to hold him accountable for that.
okay. And who's going to own the hotel?
Our company will own the hotel. We will own and operate it. Indus Hospitality Group. We've been in the hotel business since 2001, and this would be our 24th hotel. We are true owner-operators. We've never sold a hotel, and it's our primary business, what we do.
And do you have a list of where
Yeah.
all those hotels are?
Yeah.
You can get to us?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Does your concept have a min-max of stay time?
That's a good question. I guess the simple answer to that is no. As a practical matter, our average stay in an extended stay hotel, we operate things like Homewood Suites by Hilton. Those tend to be about 7 to 10 days. There is still some nightly business where, kind of like we operate Hampton Inns and Holiday Expresses, where, the average stay is more just under 2. I think we're kind of like 1.6, 1.7. This is certainly longer. There is a need for people to just stay longer. It's a lot of healthcare workers, construction workers. Why there is there's sort of a boom of extended stay hotels happening in the country. A lot of it's tied to some of the federal government acts coming out of COVID. In 21, the Infrastructure and Investment Jobs Act and the CHIPS and Science Act, which of course has been getting a lot of local attention, as the federal government is working to upgrade the nation's infrastructure, green energy, reorient the supply chains, et cetera. It creates a lot of demand for, there just aren't enough construction workers in any areas to handle these very large projects. Micron in Syracuse would be a great example. So.
Okay. Do you guys rent out to the immigrants that have come in? Or you participate in that program?
We do not.
You do not. Okay.
We do not. There's really kind of two types of hotels. Once you do that, you pretty much give up your corporate business and your leisure business. So all of our hotels are flagged with Marriott, Hilton, IHG, Wyndham. It's unusual to do that. So we have mostly new construction hotels, and it's just not our business model.
This is going to take some time to research. I don't think, I'm not in a position to make a decision tonight whether it moves forward to the planning board. What do you guys think?
I'm not either, because I know we were talking about some code changes as related to stays.
How many rooms?
It would be 122.
Could you get us more information, the ones that you already have?
Sure,
Where
be
they're
happy to.
located?
Yeah, we'll have that to you tomorrow.
You
I
guys
stayed
want-
at Homewood Suites. They're lovely properties, and
Yeah.
Choice Hotels are lovely properties. And it's, you know, you have a nice clientele, and you know, you offer good
Yeah,
property and nice clientele stays, you know, too.
particularly in new construction. They're nice assets.
Yeah, again, I'm speaking for myself. What does the board want to do?
I'd like to do a little more research on this myself, please.
I would like to wait.
Okay. Mark, you good? Okay. Yeah, you know, we'll get back to you as soon as we get that other information. We'll talk amongst ourselves and, you know, get a hold of you and
Great.
let you know.
Would you like me to leave my contact information? Maybe
Sure,
in the form of
absolutely.
business?
Thank you.
We appreciate the time and the consideration tonight, and
Appreciate you
we'll be in
coming
touch. Who should we follow up with regarding the list of hotels and,
Send them to me,
okay,
town supervisor.
great, absolutely.
And my email is rleary@lancasterny.gov, and I'll send it around to the rest of the board.
Great, we appreciate, you had a question?
I did real quick because I see this gentleman in this picture cooking. Is there like a flat top surface? Or
Yeah,
something for
so
people to cook?
what we're proposing is 122 suites. So there are some pictures in there that, hopefully quite a few of your questions about visiting the website for Woodspring, looking at the materials we handed out. But yes, every room has a sitting area, a full-size refrigerator, a
An
cooktop.
efficiency type of suite.
It's an extended stay hotel, just like you've seen at home.
And then I
or
saw a
Residence Inn.
picture of probably another area for laundry services.
Correct. Yep, like a guest laundry area.
Sure.
No, you have different, like, 2-bedroom suites, 1 bedroom?
Yeah,
or
one
they all
bedroom
can
and
stay?
studio.
Oh,
And then mostly to get 2 bedrooms, we would have a demising door between the wall where you can connect rooms.
Ed, when they were talking about putting in a hotel, extended stay right next to the Red Roof Inn, I recommended that we get a list of where the other hotels are at this point before we make a decision on the spot here. Are you good with that?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay, and then we'll get a hold of them and
Yeah,
let them know.
That shouldn't
If we're
take too
good.
long, right?
Yep, no, it shouldn't take too long at all.
Great.
Let us know if you need anything, our site planner, we can send that along.
Okay, great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Tara Bennett? Okay,
Visual aids before we discuss.
okay, and then when you get back to the microphone, just state who you are and who you're with.
Thank you.
My name is Tara Bennett, and I'm with the Broadway Group. We're a commercial real estate developer. We're based out of Alabama, but we do have territories in other states, including New York. We've been working in New York with some of our retail developments. I think this is going on our 7th year. For those of you who have been serving on the board for a few years, you may recall that I came before you a couple of years ago regarding a Dollar General project on Broadway. And so the project that I'm bringing forward to you tonight is very similar in concept. And so you'll see in the first page of the presentation just an aerial view kind of zeroing in on the location of the project site. This is on Walden Avenue. It's at the intersection with Quail Run. There's a subdivision behind us. Across the street is some like light industrial properties like a storage unit and Orville's interiors. They do home appliances and things like that. If you go to the next page, it shows you the zoning area of the project site. So we're in the multi-family, multi-use area, which does allow for retail use. And then you can see the residential area behind us to the north, and then the light industrial into general industrial. And so this is kind of a step down zone, kind of a buffer zone between some of your industry areas going into your residential areas. So then we have just an aerial overlay showing the piece of property that we're looking at. It's about 1.25 acres. And so this is the dimension of the site that we would be, that we'd be working with. And then you'll just see a series of some other pictures. You can see we took them kind of in the winter.
So hang on one second.
Yes, sir.
We're talking this track A here, this 1.26 acres where you want to put the store?
Yes, sir. That's
Okay.
correct.
And you got houses or other stuff like right there?
That is correct.
Okay.
So then there's just a series of some pictures of the site looking, up and down Walden Avenue, looking across the street of Walden Avenue. So you can get a general lay of the land of the property in question. I'll give you just a couple of seconds to flip through there. I think the last one with those really close-up site pictures shows the Orvilles across the street from us. And then there's just little snapshot of some of the other nearby developments. You can see that it is kind of a developing area between the public storage. There's a children's learning center, some engineering products, typical things that you might see in an area that's where you're transitioning between industry and residential. So the last page, just to kind of preview the project with you, is a sketch of the layout of the site. And this is not, set in stone yet. Our engineers are still working, of course, but we wanted to come before you tonight to give you an idea of the project and get some preliminary feedback before we proceed. So you can see that we are proposing a little over 10,000 square foot retail store. It's a similar size to the one that we did on Broadway, and it's very similar layout. We have the parking in the front of the building. There are 35 parking stalls. One of the differences in this particular project, and it's really geared about the shape of the property, is we have our dumpster and delivery area behind the building, so it wouldn't be visible from the Walden Avenue. We have proposed our driveway to come off of Quail Run Lane, and the reason for that really is because being a corner property, NISDOT really doesn't allow us to do our driveway on the main road. They require you to come off of the lower volume road, and so part of our proposal would be, and working with engineering and working with Public Works, of course, would be to provide some improvements to Quail Run Lane to make sure that the pavement is for that heavier use where you might see some trucks or some additional traffic coming into that section of the roadway. The things that we have not shown here, they would come later in discussions with the planning board, are things like the landscaping plan, a photometric plan to show the placing and lighting for the site, things like stormwater management plans. We know that with having the neighbors, the residential neighbors to the north, we need to be cognizant of some concerns that a residential neighbor might have. So we have proposed, we know some sort of screening. Will have a privacy fence. Other means of screening we can discuss with the planning board. And then I guess the last thing to mention, just as a general overview, is that with this project we would expect to have some area variances that we would request from the zoning board. For example, the 35 parking stalls, I think based off of the zoning code, we'd be looking at over 100, which is a lot more than what we would need for our operation, and much more than what a lot of this size would, be able to maintain. So we would be asking for that. We're still, fine-tuning the layout. There might be some variances for a little bit of a setback issue on the pavement, but I think that would probably be about it until we fine-tune the plans. So with that, I'd be glad to consider any questions that you may have at this time.
What type of retail?
It would be a Dollar General store.
General? And then I'm assuming the truck size that would be going in and out of the Quail Run, actually, it would be tractor trailers for
It is.
inventory?
It would be tractor trailer. We did run truck models to make sure that the trucks can make the turns. This is a smaller road, more narrow lanes. They can make the turns. We would be restricting them to where they don't go back into the residential area. There would be no need for them to. They would just be coming into the site and then leaving back onto Walden. One of the discussions we had with planning and zoning, going forward with the planning board and everybody's comments, is whether that island that's kind of dividing Quail Run, whether that would remain or whether we might try to modify that in some way to give a little bit more space if that was a preference of the town.
Questions? I'm not good with the location at all, personally. I'm not going to support this. Anybody else?
I'm not either.
I have difficulty with it being that close to that development and the tractor-trailer traffic. Walden Avenue would be a better ingress egress, but I can understand why.
Okay, and I do understand your viewpoint. It's not within our, choice. It's a NISDOT regulation, and any development that would go here would be having the same issue. And since it is zoned for a commercial use, any commercial driveway would have to unfortunately be off of Quail Run Lane.
Okay, if you got changes or anything, let us know, but I think the majority of the board is not in favor of this project at this point, so we're not okaying it to move forward to the planning board. So, you want to get in touch with us in the future, let us know, okay?
Yes, sir, may I just so I do
We
understand.
got to continue on, we got a work session, I got to get in all these departments,
Yes,
and our regular town board meeting starts at 7.
I
So-
understand. I just wanted to ask for clarification because I need to carry it back to my boss. The two concerns are the proximity to the residential and the tractor truck traffic. Is
Which I
that
think all ties
it?
in together, right?
Yeah.
I think that does. My other concern is that we are looking at our comprehensive plan, and there may be some changes to some zoning in there.
Right.
And I could not, in good faith, approve this without seeing what changes are being suggested and coming forth. So we're still working on that at this time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Okay, department heads, let's start with Nick tonight.
Good evening. Nick Swanson, Director of Administration and Finance. Spent the last week, 2 weeks, training up my accounting clerk. Things are going very well. It's nice to have some additional help. And, we're strengthening our internal controls even farther. I'm proud of how far we've came this year in terms of accounting. Seemed like a dream that would never come true to be at where we're at now a few months ago. And every day there's a new challenge, but the next challenge ahead of us is the budget, and we'll be going full force from here until got to be November. So if you guys need anything from me, you can always call, email.
Thank you.
Thank you.
John? What? Oh, John Pilato, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. You guys fight it out in the front here. I didn't even see you, John. I apologize. John, Georgianowski.
Sorry, John. How we doing?
P comes before T, so go ahead.
Gotcha. Good evening. Last week, our highway department finished up helping Depew DPW with their paving schedule. At the prior board meeting, the board approved 2 heel upgrades for the department, and I'm happy to report we were able to get some quality training time on the paver with one of the new heels, Timmy Guerick, while he was working in Depew, and he did a fabulous job. I'm happy about that. We continue with our street sweeping and weekly brush pickup. Grappa crews and small trucks are out with for small piles every day. The striping crew has been doing an excellent job all around town, and we will be starting a couple ditching projects this week. I would like to thank the board on a couple items that are up tonight. Number one, Mr. Burkhart worked really hard with the board, to approve the John Deere 624 loader. This loader is honestly an integral piece of equipment fighting heavy snows and blizzards, clearing and removing snow in cul-de-sacs and entrances, and I really think that this is going to be a good investment for a long time. It's going to give us a lot of leeway with the snow too. Also want to thank you guys for my next hire. I'm excited to bring Cole Eisenhower to the department. Cole is here tonight. He's got a Class B license and has experience with heavy equipment, snow removal, and drainage. So thank you for both things.
Thank you very much. John Trojanowski? Sorry, John.
We're just wrapping up a very successful summer program that we've had. All went well. We're having our school supply closet distribution this week. Right now, we're identifying the families who are eligible for that. We still have one more babysitter training to do, and we're all wrapped up. I want to thank the police chief for our junior police academy. We had 20 youth that spent a day out at the police department, and then we had another group that spent the day at the fire department, Twin District Fire Department, and those were very successful. So it was a very good summer, and I know that there are 2 contracts that are on the agenda for tonight, the Community Support Program and the Family Support Center Coordinator. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask me, and all's going well.
Great. Thank you very much. Any questions for John? No? Okay. Carmen, what do you got?
Just a couple of things. Thank you for the resolution for the sidewalk. That's to fix out here, make it level, not a trip hazard anymore. That's on for tonight. The boiler was repaired at the police department. I've been watching them do the work at the historical building. The holes are filled for the gutters, so there are no more birds going in there. We got the voucher out for the lights, for the LED lights. We are working on getting the AC moved in the police department and the one garage where we don't need it anymore into the evidence garage where they're keeping some evidence and everything. I met with John and Michelle about blacktopping some of the town properties. There's going to be a resolution for the next meeting. John and Michelle gave some ideas of what we should get done this year, including the back parking lot here. So they're going to plan that after the next board meeting. Our elevators were inspected. The boiler at OEM was inspected. The architects came out to the police department on Pavement Road. We met with them. They went around. They took pictures, measurements. They're working on that. We had about 8 street lights that were out. We have a broken AC unit here in the back of the building that's been out. So we're trying to see what it costs to fix the it's the pump, so we might have to replace it. I'm going to see if I can get the village fire truck to get me up to this gutter back here where it's pouring out water, see what's the cause of it, with their ladder truck, because our bucket truck won't go that high. What else do we have? We met at the library today. Melissa was there. We're going to help them move the stuff out of there so the company can start sooner. So we're going to give Josh a hand over there, removing all the furniture and the stuff in there. Ed was also there. Tomorrow we have a meeting here with grants on the senior center. Then we're meeting with the Erie County. They want to know on the progress of what we do with the state grant money for the Opera House and the schoolhouse, which hopefully we can get the money back for the AC once they come tomorrow. Working on the mental health list with their contract. I'm going to meet with Tommy there tomorrow at 12:30, see what else we have to get on the list. Talk is about painting the outside of the building. I did talk with Bruce. Bruce is we're going to help. If we do paint it this year, we're going to tag team it and get a couple people and do it together and get it done with. He's been great. He's been, if we need guys for something, they've been coming. He's been getting them out for me. Thanks, Bruce. And Nick showed me how to use the Munis system and the budget stuff.
Good.
And we did safety training on the bucket and the lift with Bruce and I and a couple guys.
Great. Great. Question?
All right.
Thank you. Bruce?
Good evening, Honorable Town Board. Bruce Stutz, Lancaster Parks, Recreation, and Forestry. So we'll start out overall slowing down a little bit in the parks as far as the field side. Gearing up for football, they had a scrimmage game at Walden Pond on Saturday. So their opening day is this Saturday. So if you're out and about, there's usually thousands of people over at Walden Pond Park. So we're gearing up for that this weekend. As far as a little bit bigger projects, we're sending some smaller crews back into Nature Walk at Westwood Park. So we're going to get that project, get that going again. We took some time off, obviously, during our busy season over the summer, but we will have crews back out working on the nature walk. Our target goal is still to have that completed by the end of this year, so 2024. On the rec side, Police and Recreation, Parks and Recreation hosted the annual Battle of Lancaster charity softball tournament over at Walden Pond Park. And also, it was the Touch a Truck event, too, which was well attended. Unfortunately, for the Parks and Rec and Highway team, the police brought home the title, 9-7 in the championship game. They had a good run there. They had their full uniforms and they're ready this year, as they always are. So it was 9-7. It was a close game. So Lancaster Police, congratulations, and for Bob and Mark for stopping out. I'm not sure if I don't know if Don was there or not, Adam, but.
Is it true that police department hires guys after they look at their batting average?
There's some of that, yeah. There's some of that. We're going to start. John and I are going to start doing that as well, for sure.
There is a formal investigation about this lime green bat that was being used that,
some
we're
bad
not sure.
discrepancies. So yeah, we also had the New York State Troopers involved. It was a good event for the law enforcement. Lancaster Fire was the fourth team. So, even a 4-team event, a very good event. We could grow it next year. We're talking, there's plans to do that. So, like I said, the Touch a Truck for all the departments, highway, police, triple T towing, a couple of towing that sent over vehicles, much appreciated. And on the forestry side, we had a good month catching up with, for sure, stumps. Got dedicated stump crews. We're pruning. We're catching up on all our pruning. That was kind of on the back burner for a little bit, so we're going to consistently have that approach. We're knocking out a lot of the smaller tree removals. And Carmen did mention we did have aerial lift training, bucket truck training, that was offered free from Lawley Insurance. So we had 6 of us trained, myself included, and Carmen was instrumental in showing us a lot of that bucket truck. So pretty much going from Carmen knowing that equipment to at least 6 of us now. So that is going to be good for our department. And the big one on the support, hopefully continued support on the multi-purpose turf field that Don is sponsoring. I see on number 9. Obviously a great project for our town and our community. So if that continues its path, we would definitely appreciate that. So any questions for me?
Nope. No. I think we're good.
All right.
What we're going to do is continue the work session after we are all begin our regular meeting. We'll just finish up the work session at that point. So I have 6:59 in about 30 seconds, and we'll just gavel in here in 30 seconds and go from there. Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 8/19/24 Town Board meeting here in the town of Lancaster. Diane, roll call, please.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Here.
Councilmember Dickman?
Here.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Here.
Councilmember Studley?
Here.
Supervisor Leary?
Here. Tonight we have the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation by Councilmember Adam Dickman. Please stand.
Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us engage in meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of our community.
Okay, we're going to carry on with the work session in just a minute. Tonight we're going to have 21 pre-filed resolutions. We'll have 2 public hearings and 1 executive sessions. We're going to close in memory of retired Village of Lancaster Police Department Detective Sergeant Jerome Jerry Zeminski. He served the Village of Lancaster for 32 years. Wayne Shorty Robinson and Connor Thomas Smale of Hamburg. There will be 2 public hearings, so we got to get them in after they're at 7:05. We'll get them in shortly after. As long as we do it later, we're good. So let's continue on. Oh, and the executive session is for a personnel matter. Okay, continue on with the work session. Chief, anything?
Unless the board's got questions for me, Bruce stole my thunder.
Okay, very good. Okay, Matt?
We've been pretty active the last couple of weeks servicing the community, as you can see with our permit totals. We did receive the 2 vehicles. We appreciate the purchases of those, and tomorrow we'll be delivering to implement them with weather-protected devices and to get them commissioned for service. Last week, we did get through the countywide civil service list for Assistant Code Enforcement Officer. We conducted several interviews, and I'm hoping that we can receive approval to make some appointment requests for the next meeting on September 3rd. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ed?
Real quick, the historical building, as Carmen said, the work's continuing. They're looking to wrap up there in hopefully about a week or 2. Siebert Road, the preliminary environmental report is complete, anticipating submittal this month to the DOT. Warner Road, the front end specs were approved. They were sent over to Lawley, and so we'll proceed to bid documents for that. Let me see, the turf field, anticipating award tonight. Once that's done, then they'll proceed into design. We'll get down to some nitty-gritty information on that. With I've gotten some stuff from the other leagues, and so we'll start incorporating their stuff to make sure it all works together. Library, we had a get start meeting this morning. They're anticipating starting a week from today, and they expect 2 to 3 months, 3 months tops for construction. And I think that is it.
Okay, the reimbursement from the library, that should be pretty quick, right?
Yeah, it's just gonna be,
They got the
yeah, I
money.
mean, yeah, I assume once pay app comes in from the contractor, town pays and shoot an email to the library and they cut you a check as far as they would know. I think that's how I expect it to go.
Okay, great. Okay. All right, we got like 1 minute to the public meeting, so does anybody have anything from the town board?
Ed and Carmen talked about the library, so.
You stole your thunder too, right?
Sorry.
Thunder stealer. Anybody else? Okay. I just want to say the Rotary Club, we had our car show this past Wednesday. Had 130 cars, made the most money they ever made. I appreciate anybody who came and participated in that. It was a great turnout and very successful. So thank you very much on behalf of the Rotary Club. And we still got about 15, 20 seconds. Okay, can I have a motion to go into the public hearings? Motion. Second?
Second.
On the roll?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay. The first public hearing tonight, special use permit contractor's yard, 324 Pavement Road. Okay, Town of Lancaster notice of public hearing on application for special use permit, approval for contractor's yard, topsoil processing located at 324 Pavement Road, SBL number. Sir, you want to have a seat for a minute? So we'll call you in a second to come up.
Yeah, okay, no problem.
Thank you. Located at 324 Pavement Road, SBL number 105.00-2-13-1, Lancaster, New York. Legal notice is hereby given that pursuant to the authority set forth in Chapter 400 zoning, Article 14, Administration and Enforcement, Section 400-78, Special Use Permits of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, and pursuant to a resolution adopted by the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster on the 5th day of August, 2024, the said Town Board will hold a public hearing on the 19th day of August, 2024 at 7:05 o'clock p.m. local time here at Town Hall for the purpose of considering and possibly approving a special use permit application for Anastasia Trucking Incorporated located at 324 Pavement Road. SBL as indicated earlier. Copies of the proposed application can be reviewed at Town Hall. And does anybody want to be heard on this matter?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I'm Jeff Palumbo from the law firm of Block Longo, representing Anastasia Trucking this evening. This is hopefully the last piece of the puzzle for the property at Pavement Road. We've been to the planning board on both the site plan and the special use permit and have recommendations of approval on both. We are now at the special use permit stage for the topsoil processing yard on Pavement Road. and looking for approval from the board, and happy to answer any questions anybody might have.
Any questions? No. Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Does anybody else in our audience want to be heard on this topic, on the public hearing number 1? Please just raise your hand and come up to the podium when you're called upon. Okay, seeing no hands, we're good. Oh, you do want to be heard on this? Come on up here, ma'am.
On that?
Yeah.
No, I'm not on that.
Okay. All right, so that completes public hearing number 1. We're going to move on to the, oh, okay. Can we close out public hearing number 1? Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
On the roll?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carried.
Okay. All right, now we're going to, can I have a motion to open up public hearing number 2?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
On the roll?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, public hearing number 2, special use permit, telecommunication tower co-location at Mohawk Place. Town of Lancaster notice of public hearing on application for special use permit. Approval for a contractor's yard topsoil processing located at 324 Pavement Road, SBL number 105.0.
That was the previous one.
We just did that one.
Oh,
Jeez. Telecommunications.
sorry. Thank you. Town of Lancaster notice of public hearing on applications for special use permit approval for a telecommunications tower co-location at Mohawk Place, SBL number 104.08-4-25, Upstate Tower Site Buffalo 602B, which will be identified as Dish Wireless LLC, Site ID SYSYR 00254A, Lancaster, New York. Legal notice is hereby given that pursuant to the authorities set forth in Chapter 400 zoning, Article 14, Administration and Enforcement, Section 400-78, Special Use Permits of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, and pursuant to a resolution adopted by the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster on the 5th day of August 2024, the said Town Board will hold a public hearing on the 19th day of August 2024 at 7:05 p.m. local time here at Town Hall, 21 Central Avenue in Lancaster, for the purposes of considering and possibly approving a special use permit application for telecommunications tower co-location by Dish Wireless LLC on the current tower located at Mohawk Place, Upstate Tower, Site Buffalo 602B. Copies of the proposed application can be reviewed at Town Hall. And does anybody want to be heard on this particular matter? Public hearing number 2. Raise your hand if you want to be heard on this. Yes, ma'am?
I am here representing Aerosmith Development on behalf of Dish Network, so I'm here to just answer any questions that you may have on the extension of this permit.
All right, and your name is?
Cheryl Schultz.
And go ahead. Just here to answer questions? Don't want to give a summary
Right,
or
just
anything?
to address any concerns. I'm actually, this is not my project, I just happen to be the closest representative. So I don't know if there were questions. I was led to believe it was probably just a simple extension of an expired permit. Is that my understanding? Construction did not begin on time, and they were seeking an extension of this permit.
Matt, does that match with what we're looking at for this one?
Well, it's hearing to provide a special use permit for the construction of the facilities at the tower.
Right, so, okay. Any other questions from the town board? No. Okay, thank you very much. Does anybody else in the audience want to be heard on this matter? Please raise your hand. Okay, seeing no hands raised, can I have a motion to close public hearing number 2? Motion. Second?
Second.
On the roll.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Sure, thank you. Okay, that closes out our public hearings for the night. Okay. We are, right now, the town board will hear the concerns of persons desiring to address the town board on any pre-filed or proposed suspended resolutions for a total period of 30 minutes. Procedures for this: raise his or her hand and be recognized by the supervisor, give his or her name and address to the town clerk, speak directly to the town board members, not the audience, using the microphone provided, speak once for 5 minutes or less, unless the town board grants the speaker an extension of this time limit. Does anybody in the audience want to be heard on any of the pre-filed resolutions? Yes, sir. Come on up.
Good evening again, Jeff Palumbo. I'm speaking on behalf of Mr. Capretto on resolution number 15. I delivered a copy of the letter to the board today, and I apologize for the lateness, but I did not discover the pre-filed resolution until I went through the agenda this evening on the Anastasi matter. So that's why you're only getting it now. So I'll just read the letter very quickly. There is a pre-filed resolution on this evening's town board agenda seeking to rescind the final plat approval of the Field Stream subdivision. As you are aware, this proposal has been years in the making. Numerous changes and modifications were made to the subdivision at the request of the planning board. Additionally, the number of proposed lots decreased substantially due to the town's adoption of modified minimum lot requirements. A substantial amount of time, energy, and expense has been invested in this development. Tonight, Resolution 15 seeks rescission for failure to file the final subdivision map within 90 days of the September 18, 2023 approval. Please note there were several mitigating issues that prevented the filing within the prescribed time frame. There have been frequent delays in connection with the approval, including a 3-month gap from submission of the water main application in June of 2023 until approval in September while signature from the town was sought. The water main application was finally signed by the town on January 30th, 2024, 134 days later. Therefore, it was impossible to meet the 90-day deadline. Additionally, Mr. Capretto had to close on the land before filing the subdivision map, and a variety of title and related issues prevented the closing until on or about May 10th, 2024. On May 14th, 4 days after the closing on the land, the map cover was filed. The town code allows 2 90-day extensions of the filing deadline. Had extensions been requested before the expiration of the 90-day deadline, the town board would have had the authority to grant filing up to June 17th, 2024. Since the map cover was filed on May 14th, 2024, filing would have been timely. Mr. Capretto at all times has acted in good faith in doing whatever he could to meet the requests of the planning board. There exists no prejudice to the town, the neighbors, or anyone else in not rescinding the approval. Respectfully, then, it is requested that the town board not proceed with the rescission of the subdivision final approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else want to be heard on any of the pre-filed resolutions at this point? You can. Did you have questions for him?
Well, I do.
Okay. All right, I'm sorry. We had some questions for you.
Yes.
Mr. Palumbo first?
Yes. I don't think the 30 days, I think the 30 days, or 90 days we're talking about is from May 14th, which would have brought us to August 14th. And the extension request has to come from you, Mr. Capretto.
Correct.
Not us.
Correct. No question.
An extension, I mean, we know we're late. Mr. Leary signed, in January, February, but this was, the 90 days is from this map cover, May 14th of this year. We're not going back and saying that you did not file an extension in the beginning of the year. It's from May 14th.
No, the filing of the map cover was May 14th.
Yeah.
The approval of the subdivision was September 18th, 2023. It's 90 days from the approval of the final plat. So it was 90 days from September 18th that we had to file, but we couldn't file for 134 days at a minimum because of the water application.
But he didn't own the land either.
He didn't own the land.
time.
We could not have filed either way.
Correct.
We would have closed, though, if we had received the water application filing. That's what was holding us up. There were a couple title issues that continued holding us up, and we resolved those fairly quickly and then recorded. So what I'm saying is it's basically kind of a joint effort. No question that we have the obligation to ask for an extension. But on the other hand, town has a little bit of culpability here too because of the 134 days. So we're just asking for really a common sense resolution. Let it move forward. There's nobody prejudiced by this.
Does anybody else have any
Well,
comments or questions?
again, it really doesn't impact your 90 days. Your 90 days started on September 18th, and you should have asked for an extension, when you saw whatever happened or didn't happen at that point. When I signed the water agreement, it was still back in January. So again, I mean, what date are we asking for here, the 90 days from? I mean, you, again, start up another 90 days, then you could have asked for an extension, even if we used that as the starting date on it. We've got emails back and forth where it was fully explained as to exactly what had to be done. I mean, I get, so I don't think there's really any excuse for not getting it in there. You had plenty of time, plenty of email notification.
Yeah, listen, I'm not arguing the fact that we had an obligation, but the 90-day limitation came as a surprise to the engineers, Carmina and Wood, who have been very involved with many different applications in this town. Mr. Capretto was unaware of it. I was not involved at the time that this happened. I wish I would have been, but, everybody makes mistakes. And again, the reason for the 130 days, if it would have been 10 days, we wouldn't need this problem. They would have closed.
Yeah, again, I mean, we got an email way back in February, which asked, Diane, can you please tell me how long town board approval is good for on subdivisions? I may be missing it. And basically, we responded on February 13th from Matt Fischione, the code enforcement officer, with a clear explanation of exactly what had to be done with the 90 days, and also if they needed the extension. It explains it clearly in here, way back in February.
That went to who?
That went to Anthony
Pandolfi.
Pandolfi.
From Carmina.
Yeah, so there was no real reason that.
And again, so Dave Capretto is the one that is injured by this, and he had really no knowledge whatsoever. He was not notified by that. I mean, it's not your fault. Pandolfi had notice of it. I get it.
Yeah.
But, so he's an innocent victim.
And there were other emails about this as well, where, again, we have to enforce the code of the town.
Well, you have the discretion, I think, from the code to grant a waiver.
Yeah, I'm not going to pull the resolution at this point. We'll see what the board vote on it is.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody else want to be? Yes, ma'am.
I'm new to this. I'm Deb Lorenz Hausman. I live at 663 Aurora. I'm dealing with this, they said I need a sidewalk. I'm here to waive it. I went down the street and I've seen other new homes. I moved in January. I've seen other new homes without sidewalks. I have the addresses. I've been in, I grew up in Lancaster. I was born here. My family has been here forever. I'm not here to cause any trouble. We're residential. We have open ditches. Let's see. I'm just asking you for a proposal to waive the sidewalk. Just make it short.
And that's resolution 5.
At 663 Aurora Street.
Yes.
The resolution will go on.
Yeah.
And there'll be a vote on it by the board. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, does anybody else want to discuss the pre-filed resolutions at this point? Okay, seeing no more hands, we're going to move on to, does the town board have any official reports? No. Okay. Reports of any town board committees? Okay. And now we're going to get right into the pre-filed resolutions. Okay, number one is mine. Be resolved that the minutes of the regular meeting of the town board held August 5th, 2024 be and are hereby affirmed. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 2. Resolved that the following audited claims be and are hereby ordered paid from the respective accounts as per abstract to be filed in the office of the town clerk by the supervisor's office, to wit, check run number 08192-024. Total amount hereby authorized to be paid is $709,896.70. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Councilmember Dickman, number 3, please.
Number 3, thank you, Mr. Supervisor, Honorable Board. I offer Resolution 3 for adoption. Resolved that the following building permit applications be and are hereby reaffirmed. There's a total of 67. There's 47 in the town and 20 in the village. And second part here, excuse me. Now therefore be it resolved that the building permit applications coded CSW for conditional sidewalk waiver be and are hereby reaffirmed with a waiver of the town ordinance required for sidewalks. However, the waiver is granted the express condition that the town of Lancaster, any future date, reserves the right to order sidewalk installation at the expense of the property owner.
And do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
I have to recuse myself.
And Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Do you know the person, or? Okay, thank you. Okay, resolution, or, wait a minute. Okay. Resolution number 4. Whereas Anthony J. Servey, Town Justice for the Town of Lancaster, by letter dated August 5th, 2024, has recommended the appointment of the following individual to the position of Court Officer, part-time provisional in the Town Justice Court Department of the Town of Lancaster, and whereas the following individual qualifies for appointment to this position pursuant to the standards and procedures as set forth in civil service law, now therefore be it resolved that the following individual is hereby appointed to the position of Court Officer, part-time provisional in the Town Justice Court Department in the Town of Lancaster, contingent upon approval by Erie County Department of Personnel, working not more than 19 3/4 hours per week, and that these being part-time positions provide no health insurance, sick days, vacation, or other fringe benefits not specifically mandated for part-time employees. Name of the individual is James A. Honick, Court Officer, be starting at $22.50 an hour, and the date he'll be starting is August 19th, 2024, today. Be it further resolved that when James A. Honick is called upon to serve as court officer, he shall receive a minimum of 3 hours pay or pay for the actual number of hours worked, whichever is greater, and be it further resolved that the supervisor of the town of Lancaster shall be authorized to take all necessary action to implement the foregoing. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Councilmember Burkhardt, number 5 and 6, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board. I'm offering resolutions 5 and 6 for adoption. Whereas by letter dated July 31st, 2024, the property owner of 663 Aurora Street has requested that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster waive the requirement for the installation of sidewalks as stated in Section 310-12B1 of the Town Code, and whereas after reviewing the project and considering the opinion of the Councilman Member Burkhardt expressed in his email dated August 2nd, 2024, recommending approval of this request in order to maintain consistency with the existing character of the area, the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster has determined this to be a reasonable request. Now therefore it be it resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby exercises its right as stated in Section 310-12B1 of the Town Code and grants a waiver of the requirement for the installation of sidewalks along the street frontage for a lot located at 663 Aurora Street within the Town of Lancaster, and is conditioned as follows. This waiver is granted upon the express condition effective that at any future date, the town of Lancaster reserves the right to order sidewalk installation at the sole expense of the property owner.
Do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
No.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
No. But it did pass, ma'am. Thank you.
Resolution 6, whereas John Pilato, Highway Superintendent of the Town of Lancaster, by letter dated August 5th, 2024, has requested the purchase of one new and unused 2024 John Deere 624P tier wheel loader for use by the Highway Department. And whereas the above referenced loader is available from Five Star Equipment and will be purchased as per New York State contract PC 70139, New York State OGS contract award PPG-22792 Group 40625 heavy equipment, which will eliminate the need for competitive bidding pursuant to Section 103 of General Municipal Law. And whereas the cost of one new and unused 2024 John Deere wheel loader is $288,840.89, this will be paid for using $52,398.41 from ARPA funds, $132,832.48 from FEMA reimbursement, and $103,610 from the 2021 bond balance. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby approves the purchase of one new and unused 2024 John Deere wheel loader from Five Star Equipment for a total amount not to exceed $288,840.89.
Do we have a second?
Second. Cheers.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 7. Whereas on August 19, 2024, the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster has heretofore held a public hearing pursuant to Chapter 400 zoning, Article 9 communication towers, Section 400-48 procedure of the Code of the Town of Lancaster upon the application of Deanna Culver on behalf of Dish Wireless LLC for a special use permit for a telecommunications tower co-location of antennas, ancillary equipment, and ground equipment for a new carrier to be placed on the current tower located at Mohawk Place, SBL number 104.08-4-25, which will be identified as Dish Wireless LLC site ID SYSYR 00254A in the town of Lancaster, New York. And whereas persons for and against such special use permit have had an opportunity to be heard, and whereas the town, acting as lead agency under the State Environmental Quality Review Act, has identified the relevant areas of environmental concern and determined the action to be a Type 2 action under seeker, therefore no further action is needed. Now, therefore, be it resolved that pursuant to Chapter 400 zoning, Article 9 communication tower, Section 400-43, co-locating antennas of the Town Code of the Town of Lancaster, the Lancaster Town Board does hereby approve a special use permit for Deanna Culver on behalf of Dish Wireless LLC for the telecommunications tower co-location of antennas, ancillary equipment, and ground equipment for a new carrier to be placed on the current tower located at Mohawk Place. Subject to identified Dish Wireless LLC site ID stated before in the town of Lancaster, New York, subject to the applicable terms and conditions as set forth in Article 9 Communications Tower and Section 478 Special Use Permits with the following conditions. And there's one condition: a copy of the FCC license must be on file with the town clerk pursuant to Section 400-46A9. Do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 8. Whereas Director of Administration and Finance Nicholas Swanson has approved the request from Matt Ficcione, Code Enforcement Officer for the Town of Lancaster, for the recommended adjustments to the Town 2024 adopted budget. Now therefore be it resolved that the following budget amendments be and are hereby approved in the 2024 adopted budget of the town of Lancaster. We got a transfer, Building and Zoning Fund, transfer $7,200 from line 002-2655, sales of equipment, to line 23620-220, passenger vehicles. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 9, Councilmember Schroeder, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I move resolution number 9. Whereas the Town of Lancaster's town engineer, Edward Schiller, by email dated August 8, 2024, in furtherance of the turf field improvements at Walden Ponds, has requested the town accept the proposal of A-Turf Inc. for the purchase and installation of a multi-purpose athletic field in Walden Pond Park. And whereas the above-referenced multi-purpose athletic field is available from A-Turf Inc. of 505 Arrow Drive, Cheektowaga, New York, the vendor under contract RFP number 031622 with Sourcewell, a local government and procurement collaborative of the state of Minnesota, of which the town of Lancaster is a member and will be piggybacking off of, which will eliminate the need for competitive bidding pursuant to Section 103(16) of the General Municipal Law. And whereas the total cost of the multi-purpose athletic field installation is $2 million per A-Turf's email quoted dated August 1st, 2024. Now therefore be it resolved as follows. The Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby approves the purchase and installation of a multi-purpose athletic field by A-Turf Inc., the vendor under contract RFP 031622, with Sourcewell, a local government and procurement collaborative of the state of Minnesota, of which the town of Lancaster is a member and will be piggybacking off of, as proposed by town engineer Edward Schiller, for the total amount not to exceed $2 million, which will be paid for from Capital Project 09234, Walden Pond Park, account 400, contractual expenses, which is funded by the 2004 ban in issuance, and be it further resolved that the supervisor is hereby directed and authorized to sign a contract with A-Turf Inc. to effectuate this purchase and installation.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? And I just want to say we've been meeting with the different sports teams here in the town of Lancaster, got their input on this field and on other improvements that may come in the future. And I think we got a pretty good group of people together here and some cooperation amongst all the
And
teams
we'll be
involved.
continuing to collaborate, yes.
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay, on the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Councilmember Burkhart, number 10, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor and Honorable Town Board. I'm offering Resolution 10 for adoption. Whereas by letter dated August 9, 2024, Carmen Ciccarelli, Maintenance Crew Chief for the Town of Lancaster Buildings Maintenance and Repair Department, has requested a repair for the sidewalk under the Iron Arch located south of the Town Hall in Lancaster, New York. And whereas the repair will include the removal of existing curb and sidewalk, replacing it with a new concrete sidewalk with exposed aggregate finish. Whereas Carmen Ciccarelli, Maintenance Crew Chief, has recommended the work be performed by Camco General Contracting for an amount not to exceed $3,840 and to be paid for with the funds available in the 2024 Buildings and Grounds budget. Repairs and maintenance line 11620-426. Now therefore it be resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby authorizes the sidewalk repair to be completed by Camco General Contracting, Tinkman Road, Darien, New York, for an amount not to exceed $3,840.
Do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 11. Whereas Police Captain Jonathan Zeiters of the Town of Lancaster, by letter dated August 12, 2024, has advised the Town Board that the Police Department no longer has use for the following vehicles and has therefore requested that the Town Board deem the vehicle to be surplus and permit it to be placed on an online auction. We have 3 Dodge Chargers 2022, two 2022s and a 2018 Dodge Charger, various mileage from 81,000 to 62,344. Whereas the town board has given due consideration to the request of Captain Zeiders and deems it in the public interest to declare the above described vehicles to be surplus and permit placement of said vehicles on an online auction for public bid. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Lancaster hereby declares the above described vehicles, two 2022 Dodge Chargers and one 2018 Dodge Charger, to be a surplus vehicle and authorizes Police Captain Zeiders to place said vehicles up for public bid in an online auction with the Auctions International, located at 11167 Big Tree Road, East Aurora, New York, beginning on August 21st, 2024, and concluding on September 4th, 2024, with the funds received from said auction to be made payable to the town of Lancaster and delivered to the town supervisor's office. And be it further resolved that Captain Zeiders is here authorized and directed to sign the New York State DMV titles to transfer ownership of said vehicles upon the conclusion of the auction. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, on the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 12, whereas per letter dated August 12th, 2024, John Trojanowski, Executive Director of the Youth Bureau, has recommended that the town of Lancaster continue to participate in the collaborative effort with Lancaster Central School District by providing 50% of the annual salary and 50% of the annual cost of contractual expenses and fringe benefits of a school psychologist or social worker for the joint funded school and community support program within the Lancaster Central School District. And whereas the school psychologist or social worker is considered an employee of the school district with an annual salary of approximately $78,284 and the annual contractual expense and fringe benefits of approximately $38,752.50. And whereas the town board deems it in the public's interest to provide 50% of the annual salary and annual contractual and fringe benefits cost to the school district to ensure this service is mandated for the community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the supervisor of the town of Lancaster is hereby authorized and directed to execute the joint funding, a school and community support agreement with the Lancaster Central School District for the purpose of providing a school psychologist or a social worker for the period of August 27, 2024 to June 27, 2025, with the town paying 50% of the annual contractual expenses and fringe benefits for a total contribution of $58,518.25, with funding for the program to be paid from the town's 2024-2025 school social worker counselor budget, account number 14240-411, in 4 quarterly installments to the Lancaster School District as follows. The first will be $11,703. The next one will be $11,703. The next one will be $17,555, and another $17,555.48 on April 1st, 2025 with the last one. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Okay, resolution number 13, whereas the town board of the town of Lancaster approved an application from Nick Halliday of ESG Properties of Western New York, LLC, for a special use permit to allow for the operation of New York State DEC registered soil recycling facility on premise located at 6125 Genesee Street, SBL number 95.00-1-1 in the town of Lancaster, Erie County, New York, on June 6, 2022. And whereas the special use permit was issued for the period beginning June 6, 2022 and ending June 5th, 2024, and was issued with 6 conditions. And whereas one of the conditions was to renew the permit every 2 years at no additional cost to the applicant, the renewal request was the responsibility of the property owner by submitting a request in writing to the town clerk on or before June 5th, 2024. And whereas upon receipt by the town of an as-built survey, which was then compared to the approved site plan from June 6, 2022, the as-built survey did not match the approved site plan and contained significant differences. One, contractor to provide an as-built survey to the building department prior to any certificates of compliance or occupancy being issued. Two, private improvement permit will be required to initiate construction. 3, town to receive copies of all New York State DEC inspection reports. 4, floodplain development permit is required. 5, scale and scale house permit is required. And whereas Matt Ficcione, Code Enforcement Officer of the town of Lancaster, by letter dated August 9, 2024, has recommended that ESG Properties of Western New York, LLC, should have their special use permit revoked due to the noncompliance with 5 out of 6 conditions of their special use permit. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the town board of the town of Lancaster hereby revokes the special use permit of ESG Properties of Western New York, LLC, operating at 6125 Genesee Street, and New York State DEC registered soil recycling facility, and request enforcement to ensure that the business does not operate without the necessary approvals and proper guidelines, and be it further resolved that the supervisor of the town of Lancaster shall be authorized to take all necessary action to implement the foregoing. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart.
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman.
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder.
Yes.
Councilmember Studley.
Yes.
Supervisor Leary.
Yes. Resolution number 14. Whereas per letter dated August 12, 2024, John Trojanowski, Executive Director of the Youth Bureau, has recommended that the town of Lancaster continue to participate in the collaborative effort with Lancaster Central School District by providing 50% of the annual salary and 50% of the annual cost of contractual expenses and fringe benefits of a program coordinator for the Family Support Center within the Lancaster Central School District. And whereas the program coordinator is considered an employee of the school district with an annual salary of approximately $67,372.32 and the annual contractual expenses and fringe benefits of approximately $27,045.96. And whereas the town board deems it in the public's interest to provide 50% of the annual salary and annual contractual and fringe benefits costs to the school district to ensure this service is maintained for the community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the supervisor of the town of Lancaster is hereby authorized and directed to execute the agreement for joint funding of program coordinator for Family Support Center with the Lancaster Central School District for the purpose of providing a program coordinator for the Family Support Center for the period of September 1, 2024 to June 30th, 2025, with the town paying 50% of the annual contractual expenses and fringe benefits for a total contribution of $47,209.14, with funding for the program to be paid from the town 2024-2025 Youth at Risk Program, account number A14320-411, in 4 quarterly installments to the Lancaster Central School District. The first of $9,441.83 on October 1st, then another $9,441.83 on December 1st, $14,162.62 on February 1st, 2025, $14,162.62, the last one on April 1st, 2025. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart.
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman.
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder.
Yes.
Councilmember Studley.
Yes.
Supervisor Leary.
Yes. Resolution number 15. Whereas the town board of the town of Lancaster approved an application from David J. Capretto of Forbes Homes and Anthony
Pandolfi.
Thank you. Pandolfi of Carmina Wood Designs for a 40-plus single-family home subdivision on a 50.3-acre parcel located at 6061 Broadway Street, SBL number 116.00-2-24.1, on the north side of William Street, with new utilities including street lighting, public water, public sanitary sewer, and storm sewer to be installed along the new roadways to serve all of the proposed lots within the town of Lancaster, Erie County, New York on September 18, 2023. Whereas Town Code of the Town of Lancaster, Chapter 400-38H8, filing of final plat and subdivision plat not so filed or recorded within 90 days of the date upon which such plat is approved or considered approved by reasons of failure of the town board to act shall become null and void unless the particular circumstances of said applicant warrants the town board to grant an extension which shall not exceed 2 additional periods of 90 days. Such an extension must be applied for in writing to the town board within 30 days of the expiration of the approval. And whereas no such document was received requesting an extension, and no such extension was granted by the town board, and whereas the filing of the Field Stream subdivision as recorded by the Erie County Clerk's Office occurred on May 14, 2024, and whereas consideration was given in regards to the date that the water line release was signed and forwarded to the applicant on February 6, 2024, now, therefore, be it resolved that the town board of the town of Lancaster hereby rescinds the final plat approval of the Field Stream subdivision, and be it further resolved that the supervisor of the town of Lancaster shall be authorized to take all necessary action to implement the foregoing. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question?
Just with the emails again, I'm going through. Did Mr. Palumbo or Mr. Capretto ever, were they CC'd on these emails that we know of?
I can speak.
Sure. I will call upon the town clerk at this point.
I spoke with, January 30th, I called Mr. Pandolfi and was told they had been waiting for the water line sign off. On March 12th, I left a message with Mr. Pandolfi, no return. On April 3rd, I called Mr. Pandolfi, again, no response. Then I spoke with Chris Wood, and he said they will make sure that was delivered to the town. There was emails going back and forth from Mr. Pandolfi, and whether that was sent to anyone else is, I have no knowledge of.
So Pandolfi. So he was with Carmina Wood. Then.
Here's the town code if you want to read it.
Oh, I know, I'm just, because he's with Carmina Wood. I'm just going through this because we have the Forbes Capretto, then you have Pandolfo, who is with Carmina Wood Designs, which
Represents them.
was representing them at the time.
On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart.
And is he representing them anymore? Do we know?
Is Carmina Wood representing
Yes.
Capretto? Well, the thing was finished, so there was no sort of relationship. Capretto never had any notice.
Carmina Wood is the developer here, right?
Carmina Wood is the engineering firm.
The engineering firm, right? Okay, yeah. Okay.
They had notice, but Capretto didn't.
What's that?
No.
Councilmember Dickman.
No.
Councilmember Schroeder.
Yes.
Councilmember Studley.
No.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Okay, resolution number 16. Whereas on January 2nd, 2024, at the organizational meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster, a resolution allocating an amount not to exceed $500 for the proper observance of Memorial Day and Independence Day to Lieutenant Colonel Matt Urban, VFW Post 7275, was approved. And whereas upon auditing of the required itemized voucher submitted by Lieutenant Colonel Matt Urban, VFW Post 7275, it was noticed that the amount expended by the Veterans Organization surpassed the amount allocated by the Town of Lancaster by $118. And whereas the Town Board recognizes the importance of Lieutenant Colonel Matt Urban, VFW Post 7275 to the community, has decided to increase the allocated amount to include the over expenditure of funds for the 2024 calendar year in the amount of $118. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the resolution adopted January 2nd, 2024, allocating funds for the proper observance of Memorial Day and Independence Day to Lieutenant Colonel Matt Urban, VFW Post 7275, is hereby amended to increase the allocated funding for this VFW post from $500 to $618 for the 2024 calendar year. And be it further resolved that this resolution takes effect retroactively to January 1st, 2024, and the Finance Director is authorized to take whatever action is necessary to implement the foregoing. Do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Councilmember Dickman, number 17, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor, Honorable Town Board. I offer Resolution 17 for adoption. Whereas PM Peppermint Incorporated, 8905 Lap Road, Clarence Center, New York, has applied for a dumping permit for the property situated at 31 Peppermint Road in the town of Lancaster. Whereas the application was referred to the building inspector and town engineer for review and recommendation, and whereas the building inspector and town engineer have completed their review of this application by letter dated August 14, 2024, the building inspector made a formal favorable recommendation to the town board. Now therefore be it resolved that PM Peppermint Incorporated be and is hereby authorized to dump and dispose of materials outside permitted sanitary landfills within the town of Lancaster, namely on the premise owned by the applicant situated at 31 Peppermint Road, and said dumping to be in strict conformance with the application of petitioner as filed in the office of the town clerk. Be it further resolved that this permit is conditioned in accordance with the recommendations of the town engineer and the building inspector, and there are 9 conditions on here. I believe they're the same as the last time, right, Matt? Has anything changed? And be it further resolved that no building permit for the construction of any structure on the SBL premise upon which this dumping permit is issued shall be approved by the town building inspector until such time as the building inspector certifies in writing to the town board that the conditions enumerated in this resolution have been fully complied with. And be it further resolved that pursuant to Chapter 287-8 of the Code of the Town of Lancaster, the permit authorization granted herein expires 1 year from the date of this resolution.
Do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll.
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Okay, number 18, whereas a vacancy exists in the town of Lancaster's assessor's office for the position of clerk typist due to the transfer of Jennifer Rautenstrach into the office of the town attorney, and whereas this vacancy was properly posted in all departments of the town of Lancaster, and the current competitive list for the position of clerk typist has been duly canvassed by the town assessor, and whereas by letter dated August 13, 2024, Eric Finbar, town of Lancaster assessor, has recommended appointment of Rita Felshow to fill the clerk typist vacancy within his office, as Ms. Felshow qualifies for appointment to this position pursuant to the standards and procedures as set forth in the civil service law. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Rita Fleshaw of Lancaster, New York, be and is hereby appointed to the full-time represented position of clerk typist in the town of Lancaster assessor's office, effective August 20th, 2024, at an annual salary of $44,743.15 on step, which represents 85% of the full salary of $52,639, contingent upon approval by the Erie County Department of Personnel, and that such appointment shall be subject to all applicable provisions of the collective negotiation agreement between the Town of Lancaster and the CSEA White Collar Union and all applicable provisions of law. And be it further resolved that the supervisor of the Town of Lancaster shall be authorized to take all necessary action to implement the foregoing. Do we have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 19, whereas on January 2nd, 2024, at the organizational meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster, a resolution setting the salaries of various non-union represented town employees to be paid bi-weekly was approved, and whereas due to an administrative error, the salary for the assistant to the supervisor was inadvertently incorrectly set at $55,000 a year, and whereas pursuant to the Bureau of State Payroll Services of New York State Comptroller's Office Civil Service Section 80.2 Earnings Manual, the salary should be set at $55,411.10. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the resolution adopted January 2nd, 2024, setting the salaries of various non-union represented town employees be and is hereby amended to include the following: supervisor, assistant to the supervisor, $55,411.10. And be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect retroactively to January 1, 2024, and the finance director is authorized to take whatever action is necessary to implement the foregoing. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Resolution number 20, whereas John Pilato, Highway Superintendent of the Town of Lancaster, by letter dated August 13, 2024, has appointed Cole Eisenhower? Thank you. Eisenhower, to fill the position, open position of laborer grade number 1 in the Town of Lancaster Highway Department pursuant to New York State Highway Law. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby recognizes the appointment of Cole of Lancaster, New York to the position of laborer grade number 1 in the Town of Lancaster Highway Department effective August 20th, 2024, contingent upon approval by Erie County Department of Personnel, and that such appointment shall be subject to all applicable provisions of the collective negotiation agreement between the Town of Lancaster and the CSEA Blue Collar Union and all applicable provisions of law. Be it further resolved that Cole of Lancaster, New York is hereby appointed to the full-time position of laborer grade number 1 in the Town of Lancaster Highway Department and an hourly salary of $25.93 on step, which represents 80% of the full salary of $32.41 per hour. Be it further resolved that the supervisor of the Town of Lancaster shall be authorized to take all necessary action to implement the foregoing. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Okay, and the last pre-filed resolution, whereas John Pilato,
Cole is here.
Cole is here. Cole is here. He's right there. Cole, stand up. Welcome.
Thank everyone. I'm honored to have the opportunity.
You're welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome on board. You're working for a good guy there in John, so good luck.
Thank you.
Resolution number, yeah, can you hit or can you catch or? No? Oh, man.
Should have had the interview on the field, right?
On the field. Okay, resolution number 21, whereas John Pilato, Highway Superintendent of the Town of Lancaster, by letter dated August 12, 2024, has appointed Joseph Lista and Tyler Galensky to fill the 2 open positions of light equipment operator in the Town of Lancaster Highway Department pursuant to New York State Highway Law. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Lancaster hereby recognizes the appointment of both Joseph Lista and Tyler Galensky of Lancaster, New York, to the position of light equipment operator in the Town of Lancaster Highway Department, effective August 20th, 2024, contingent upon approval by Erie County Department of Personnel, and that such appointment shall be subject to all applicable provisions of the collective negotiation agreement between the Town of Lancaster and the CSEA Blue Collar Union and all applicable provisions of law, and be it further resolved that Joseph Lista and Tyler Galinsky of Lancaster, New York, are both hereby appointed to the full-time position of light equipment operator in the Town of Lancaster Highway Department at an hourly rate of $33.30. Be it further resolved that the supervisor of the Town of Lancaster shall be authorized to take all necessary action to implement the foregoing. Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? On the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Okay, at this point in time, we're going to go through the communications as presented by the town clerk. Number 389, received and filed. Number 390, received and filed. Number 391, Planning and Zoning Committee. 392, received and filed. 393, received and filed. 394, Planning and Zoning Committee. 395, received and filed. 396, received and filed. 397, received and filed. 398, received and filed. 399, received and filed. 400, for resolution, that was done. 401, Resolution 819. 402, Planning and Zoning Committee. 403, resolution tonight. 404, Planning and Zoning Committee. 405, Planning and Zoning Committee. 406, resolution tonight. 407, received and filed. 408, Planning and Zoning Committee. 409, Planning and Zoning Committee. 410, resolution tonight. 411, resolution tonight. 412, resolution tonight. 413, resolution tonight, as is 414, resolution tonight. 415, Planning and Zoning Committee. 416, resolution tonight. 417, also a resolution tonight. 418, Finance and Management Committee. 419, resolution tonight. 420, Planning and Zoning Committee. 421, Highway Committee. 422, resolution tonight. 423 and 424, resolution tonight. 425, received and filed. 426, received and filed. 427, Drainage Committee. 428, received and filed. 429, Planning and Zoning Committee. 430, Planning and Zoning Committee. 431, received and filed. Now we come to the point in the meeting where any person who wants to address the town board on any subject can do so. The town board will hear the concerns of persons desiring to address the town board on any Town of Lancaster subject for a total period of 30 minutes. Number one, raise his or her hand and be recognized by the supervisor. Number two, give his or her name and address to the town clerk. Number three, speak directly to the town board members, not the audience, using the microphone provided. And number four, speak once for 5 minutes or less, unless the town board grants a speaker an extension of this time limit. Do we have anyone who wants to address the town board at this time on any subject matter? Please raise your hand. Okay, seeing no hands raised.
One thing, Bob, on communications, 414 is incorrect.
414 is not correct.
Yes, it's the purchase of one John Deere loader, not two. It states two on
Oh, yeah, it does. Okay. We don't.
John?
Buy one, get one.
John, what are you
Yeah.
doing? We're okay with buying. Okay. Thanks, John. Okay, I don't see anybody else who has anything else for the town board. So we are going to go into an executive session. I thank everybody for coming in our audience tonight, and we'll be in there for a while before we come back out. Can I have a motion to go into executive session?
Motion.
And do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, on the roll?
Councilmember Burkhart?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickman?
Yes.
Councilmember Schroeder?
Yes.
Councilmember Studley?
Yes.
Supervisor Leary?
Yes. Thank you.
Do we get a 3-minute break? Yeah. It's mine.